you'd like to sponsor Still Got Game, give us a call at 773-527-2961 or email us at podcast@tooltoplay.com. Hey now! Welcome back, ladies and gentlemen. Hey now! Oh, hey now!
Take a week off and we blow it. Sorry.
Hey now! Welcome back, ladies and gentlemen, to Still Got Game, episode 456. Still Got Game is the official podcast of tooltoplay.com. I am, as always, Derek D. Smooth Nolan.
And I am Chris Selden, 007 Selden.
Selden, it's just you and me again this week, buddy.
Just the two of us, baby.
Yeah, just the two of us. Everybody else is finding convenient excuses not to join us. But
people are going to start talking.
But the show must go on, especially since we missed last week due to the holiday. Sorry, everyone. I know we were on quite a roll. We went 5 weeks in a row with shows, but hey, we peeled the Band-Aid. We got it out of the way. It's like the guy that buys the new car and he just scratches it somewhere you really can't see just to know there's a scratch, and then that takes all the stress away. So that's what we did. We put a little scratch on the show for 2021, and now we're back. So why don't we just jump right in the show proper, Selden, and we'll start off with the mailbag for feedback and questions from last week's show, or 2 weeks ago, technically. And if any of you want to leave us a voicemail, remember it will cut you off after a minute. Plush Zucchini comments. I was glad to hear your comments on the future of podcasts over the next couple of years. Maybe after the pandemic, we'll see a resurgence. Thanks for being the best.
Aww. Oh, we try.
So in case you forgot, Selden, this was the person that commented last week that said they had narrowed it. Like, they used to listen to a lot of podcasts, now they listen to less. And
yeah, they're down to 3, and we made the cut.
Yeah, we did make the cut. So, yeah. Who knows? Yeah, maybe after everyone's driving again and has commutes, those things where you need to listen to something. But yeah, like I admitted myself, I'm way down on my listening. So.
Yeah, since my commute's from like my bedroom to my coffee pot to my desk, it's not really time to listen to a show before I have to get going. So.
No, so true. But thanks again for the kind words. All right, Sandy Sack comments. New to your listenership, but I love the show. Well, how did I blow that? New to your listenership, but I love the show. I like it when more of you are on.
Yeah. Well, so do we.
Yeah, this is not by choice that our pals blow us off, okay? Like, we'd like everyone to be here too. It is what it is.
I'm sure if we started making money on this deal and got paid per episode, and we do this out of the kindness and loveness of our heart.
Yeah, we enjoy talking to you guys and having fun, and so who knows? Maybe if someday there was like real money rolling in, like back in the day when we used to be sponsored by like Netflix and the like, those were the days. I still remember those commercials. Netflix features over 100 titles on my like it was like real copy they provided, so it was fun. But yeah, we don't have those anymore, so screw them. Not really, because I like their shows, but
yeah, they got some good shit. So.
Yes. All right. Next up, Willie87 asks, I just noticed that you are up over 450 episodes. Have you started planning for the big 500? I can't wait to see what kind of magic you pull off. All right, Willie, I'm gonna point something out here to you. Like, I know right now this is episode 456, but even if we did like we did almost a year and missed 8 episodes, we still wouldn't be there. So yeah, this is definitely over a year away. So we're not planning the big 500 yet.
Oh, I'm planning it.
Oh, okay. Well, at least Selden's doing the early work. We got him on the forward team. He's doing recon, figuring things out. So, but yeah, the rest of us are probably not thinking about it at all yet.
It's right there with the Chicago land. It's being planned.
Selden's got all the important things on his agenda, and since they're not happening, you can see just how good his work ethic is. But yeah, no, I'm sure when we get like to 495, then we'll start worrying about 500. But especially at the rate we will probably end up doing podcasts at that point, which is like every 2 weeks. So that's 10 weeks. That's like, it's 2.5 months. So yeah, there's plenty of time between now and then. But I do appreciate you looking out and looking forward to episode 500. So. All right. And last, but certainly not least, Altius asks, with some developers saying they're having issues developing next-gen titles for the Xbox Series S, how do you see its role changing in the Xbox Series lineup? Will devs treat it like an Xbox One X hybrid? So, I hadn't seen this story, and I googled a little bit. I don't know if you saw it too, Selden. Some were complaining that the graphics are too restrictive, and that's not the way they write their games. And
yeah, there was definitely some stories that came out about it, and then there was a story that I saw. I don't even know what the source was, but they were even saying that Microsoft is going to start focusing on games for the Xbox One and just doing an upscale on the frames per second for the Xbox Series S and X for a little while.
Yeah.
So I'm like, so they're if that story is true, they're actually taking a step back away from supporting development on the new X and Series X and Series S.
Yeah, that's
I don't know how true that was actually, but we'll have to see what happens. But yeah, I did see stories about how there's complaining about the programming for the Series S and it's not really working. And unfortunately, you kind of saw this coming because they downscaled it a bunch. But I don't know how much of this is like PlayStation fan fevered influence into this. You know, trying to compare the discless and the disc version of PlayStation 5 versus the X and the Series S. So I don't know. It's still really early on in the life cycle of these consoles, and the developers are still learning all the tricks and trades for what they can do with the console. So I think we'll see some, I think it'll pan out a little bit and they'll figure it out.
We see this at the beginning of every console generation, is people don't know how to write to things. Everything's not optimized. They don't know how to write to the bare metal, and maybe in this case, when they write to the bare metal, they have to write to different metal for the X and the S, and if that's the case, that's what needs to be done. Or they write to the to the old Xbox One X, and then they scale it to the Series S. So.
Since that worked so well for CD Projekt Red.
Yes. So yeah, no, it's bad news. You have one of these things, so you probably are hoping for the best. But yeah, I don't know. I guess time will tell.
Yeah, I picked up the Series S for my kids, and the only thing that's been played on it is Minecraft. So I'm not really
utilizing the hardware. Yes.
Yeah.
Nice. All right. Well, if any have great questions or feedback like this, you can either give us a call, 773-527-2961, or email us at podcast@tooltoplay.com. On that, normally we'd hop over, and no, we will hop over into what we're playing. Yeah, we are so out of practice this week, Selden, or at least I am. So we'll hop on over to what we're playing. Selden, what have you been playing this week?
Since I got done with Medium a couple weeks ago, I forget what I played a couple weeks ago, but this whole week has been Assassin's Creed Valhalla. Yeah. I said to myself at the beginning of the week, I'm like, I got to just dive into this. I got to start grinding out some of the level and upgrading. And so yeah, I've been playing a shit ton of Valhalla. It's it's Assassin's Creed. There's just so much to do in it, and I'm starting to really get into it and get my groove going. So I'm definitely liking it a lot more. Other than that, I've been playing my mobile game Empires and Puzzles, and then I played a couple nights of PokerStars VR. Love that game, man.
Nice.
Did a few sit and go tournaments, and they have blackjack tables in there now, so you can play some blackjack.
Nice.
So it's it's definitely good. So if anybody ever has Oculus or even the Valve Index, I think you can play PokerStars VR. Just let me know. I'll sit at a table with you. We'll play some.
Nice.
What about you, Derek? What have you been playing?
Well, I played a little more Spider-Man. I'm going through the remaster on PS5 since I had never played the old one on my PS4. So that's pretty fun. It's pretty button mashy. Like I forgot how like those games that have like the quick time events where it's like tap this or do that. Like those, your hand gets sore after after a big long level of doing that. I'm like, jeez, I'm gonna take a little break from this, but. Yeah, that's fun. It looks great. The game's fantastic. And obviously working my way through that before I play the Miles Morales one. and then just phoned in some phone games, some Harry Potter Wizards Unite, some One Catch a Day in Pokemon Go, and a little bit of Toon Blast when I'm, relaxing and doing nothing. So pretty much the same. But I did watch Tiff play some Assassin's Creed Valhalla, so yeah, she's always getting her time in that. But she may even be playing it now. Who knows?
She should be on the show.
I know. It's the stupid first Monday of the month rule that she came up with. So I guess
I didn't approve that. There was no vote.
Yeah, but I guess we'll see next week because that'll be the Monday the 1st. Yeah, Monday the 1st. So in theory, she should be on next week, which will probably draw out the other scrubs and get them on too. So. All right. Well, on that, this is normally when we be jumping to the new releases, but there's no major new releases out this week, unless you're into like old Ghosts and Goblins remastered on the fucking Switch. But we don't consider that a new release. So, hell, Selden on that. Why don't we just jump it over? Wow, the show's gonna be so short. It always is when it's just you and me. No. Why don't we jump on over into gaming news? First story! Metallica's BlizzCon performance ruined by Twitch. So this is awesome. Metallica's doing an online concert for BlizzCon. It's being broadcast over the internets to everybody, especially on Twitch. And partway into the song, all of a sudden the music cuts out and some easy listening is being pumped in. And it's because Twitch forgot to turn off their anti-DMCA protection and matched the song and then replaced it in real time. So
wow.
Yeah. And that's embarrassing.
That is horrible. Wow.
Yeah. Talk about like really fucking something up. Like, yeah, it's one thing if you're gonna block someone from using music, but you should know if the person has the right to use that music first.
Especially with a headliner like Metallica.
Yes, yeah. So I found that pretty funny. Yeah.
They really got to revisit this and open this back up, because one of the streamers that I love watching during the day when I'm working, I don't really watch him, I just have him playing. Yep. He's a New York City bike messenger. So it's
I remember you talking about this guy. Yeah, yep.
In real life guy. He's streaming as he's doing Grubhub or Uber Eats or whatever he's doing, but he's a bike messenger. Yep. And he used to jam like 80s and early 90s rock music all the time.
Nice.
He'd talk over it and everything like that between stops and stuff. But they freaking with the DMCA takedowns, he can't do it. So like I've tried watching him a few times, and it's just
it's just boring.
It's just like easy listening, like not duty free.
Yeah, duty free. Yeah.
It's basically crap music that that there's no lyrics. It's just instrumental. It's just all free to use. And it's just not the same. I love this guy. He's doing a really good job. He's still carrying it on. But it's just not the same. It's not something I can listen to while I'm working now.
Yeah, so. This is one of those things where they need to readdress this and look into some sort of not even pay to play, but like just come up with some generic license that says, hey, people can have your music in the background as long as they're doing X amount of talking over X amount of your music, and if they are, then it's some micro portion of royalty versus like, oh, you owe us the full royalty for the whole song because you did over 10 seconds or whatever. So
yeah, no, they should definitely have some kind of subscription service through like Amazon Music or something, so that the streamers can say, hey, you know what, we'll pay you $10 a month or $20 a year or something, where like I'm going to play this music, it's going to be playing. Give us a list of Amazon approved music that can be played over it. I think they're just missing a big revenue stream that way. So
yeah, instead they're just pissing everyone off. Yeah. What else is new?
But that's great that Metallica. Oh my god.
Yeah. Classic. Yeah, I guarantee you Blizzard was not pleased with that. But nor Metallica. Either way, yeah. All right. Next story.
All right, I'll take this one. Oculus rolls out support for multi-user accounts and app sharing. This is really kind of what drove me to pick back up the Oculus Quest 2 to play some Poker Stars VR, because I saw that they were bringing in the multi-user account, so I went in and I set up a couple different accounts on the headset so that my son had one, I had one, and everything like that. So it works out pretty well. It's pretty flawless on how you set it up, and it really works pretty well switching between accounts and everything once you get it all set up. And it's nice now that I can, that I can be playing on the Oculus Quest 2 and he can be up in his room playing the Rift. And we can play at the same time now and not have to worry about locking one another out. So
nice.
So they did a good job with it. I think it's going to be good once they roll it, because right now it's only the multi accounts on the Quest. I think they're going to roll it out to the Rift and the other platforms as they get through it. So
yeah, okay, nice.
But they did a good job. Good job, Oculus, for making the changes that are needed.
Yeah, at least they finally listened to someone with all the complaining. But yes.
It still requires a Facebook account, which people are still pissed about. But
everybody fucking has one. Well, at least everybody I know. So, all right, next story. CD Projekt Red issues DMC takedowns to halt spread of illegally obtained source code. So, if you remember from our story a couple weeks back, there was a hacker that came in and breached CD Projekt Red's servers, and in addition to customer information, some other stuff, they obtained source code for full copies of the source code for Cyberpunk 2077, The Witcher 3, the Gwent card game from Witcher 3, and some new unreleased version of Witcher 3. And they basically put the screws to them and said, hey, you either pay this ransom or we're going to release this shit on the internet. And CD Projekt Red was like, I think you're going to do that. And sure enough, that source code's been showing up on the internet now, and they're playing basically the Band-Aid game, where as soon as a new source of their source code shows up, they put a DMCA takedown, and it seems like a losing proposition until the source of this this leak is found, and they don't keep re-leaking things. But
I think at this point, man, that code is out there. It ain't gonna be any containing it for too long. It's only gonna stop when people get bored of doing it.
No, that's true. That's true. And the worst part of it is that for some of this stuff, people probably have gone through. Smart enough people have gone through the code and found ways to exploit things in their own games. And these games, they spend a lot of time in these games. So if you're kludging something in to make the game easier for yourself or whatever, you're the only one that's really suffering from that. So none of these are really multiplayer at this point yet. I assume when they say they have the full source code for Cyberpunk 2077, it's not the multiplayer, because that's not even coming for 2 years. But
unless it was embedded in there somewhere, or at least the beginning code of it. So who knows?
That would be sad.
Yeah, I thought I also saw stories that they were auctioning off the code and stuff like that at auction sites. I'm like, man, they are just
that takes some balls. Yep.
But CD Projekt Red unfortunately brought it on themselves by releasing the garbage that's
because they released a shit game. They deserve to be hacked. Selden, is that the position you're taking?
I'm not saying that. I'm just saying they brought it upon themselves for.
Okay. Selden's opinions do not reflect the opinions of Mediacrum LLC or Tool to Play.
I do not encourage this.
Oh, yes, nice. Yeah, so it's sad news. I do like those guys. And I know that they already had a shit year with their shit release, and this is only the icing on the cake. But I do feel bad for them. So. All right, next story.
All right, next story. Bungie plans major studio expansion, recommits to non-Destiny game by 2025. This story started leaking early last week, I think. And that they were talking about what they were doing. I think some jobs were posted and things like that. But after 2 years with Activision, Bungie's gearing up to build their own Destiny universe. More importantly, they branch out into some new ones. It looks like that not only are they going to continue to support Destiny 2 with a probably minimalized team at this point, but they're looking to really create their own next level of IP, I think. So this will be good. I mean, it's still 2025 is not that far off in the grand scheme of the life cycle of developing a game with a new IP and new worlds. But I think Bungie can do it,
Mm,
and
maybe.
maybe. I mean, there's still more expansions slated to come out for Destiny 2, I think, too. So, I mean, I think they have enough money that they can afford to run two different, major operations within Bungie. So, I don't think
Yeah.
we're gonna have to worry about that. But I'm interested in looking forward to seeing what they're coming out with as their new unconfirmed, reconfirmed, at least one new IP type thing. So,
Their non-Destiny IP, yes.
yeah,
After they broke Destiny, that's what I'm looking forward to seeing as well. So, uh,
probably gonna be a pirate game.
well, that's what everybody's doing these days. It's all about the pirates and the fucking pirate music and the pets and the infinite sellable add-ons for your character. So, just ask Hit.
Yeah, I watched Hit a couple times this week. He's playing a little bit more Sea of Thieves and stuff like that, man.
Mhm.
He's really, I mean, I tried playing it. I'm nowhere close to where his level is right now. So he's kicking ass in that game. So
Yeah, I always just felt like the guns were not responsive enough in that game. Like, and it makes sense because they're like fucking ball action guns. Where you, like,
Blunderbuss is not really effective from hundreds of
no,
yards away.
no,
But
no. Yes, we all got spoiled by good guns. So, all right. Well, I'll take the next story that's sort of related, terribly so. Um, Destiny 2 mission accidentally using Hitler Youth slogan will be changed. So yeah, apparently the Destiny team in their wise and powerful way decided to make a new challenge this past week that they decided to call Blood and Honor, which you could argue they didn't know, or you could argue that they did, but it's probably they didn't. But apparently, that is a translation of a German phrase that was favored by the Nazi youth back in the day. So, a, a terrible coincidence, or someone slipping something in. Probably the prior, getting the benefit of the doubt, but yeah, so they're going to change that because that's a pretty big foot in your mouth right there.
yeah, I'm gonna go on the side of saying that they had no clue that this was a translation of a German youth
Yeah.
power phrase. It's too generic of a statement that I think that it probably took somebody that was in the know that followed that history that happened to play it and sell it and said, "Oh shit."
No, like
Before,
why'd they do that? Yes, yeah, yeah.
so I'm gonna go on Bungie's side of this that say that it was an accident,
All right.
but at least they're patching it out. So
Yeah, yeah. I don't think that they would have been that quick to patch it out if they were intentionally trying to do some sort of weird trolling. But yeah, better that it was like a weird slogan that you didn't know than like actual imagery of some symbol or something. That's a little harder to explain away.
yeah,
So yes, yeah.
yes.
All right. Cruising through these seldom. They should have put 20 stories. Next story.
All right, we'll go with Valve pushes back against Apple's attempt to rope it into the big Epic versus Apple dispute. The lawsuits are flying back and forth between Apple and game publishers, with Apple being restrictive marketplace that how they set it up to make it safe and pretty for everybody. But it looks like Apple tried to bring in, Valve to back them up on their claims that they have the right to protect their storefront and protect the individuals that purchase things in their store.
Mhm.
Whereas Epic is saying that, you know what, we just want to make our games playable wherever.
Yep.
Please let us sell. And and we don't want to pay your 30% or whatever it is. So
Mhm.
I think it's good that Valve backed out of it and said that they didn't want to be any part of that at this point. So I think it's not just Apple; it's both Apple and Android that are both. They have the restrictive storefronts, or the amount of percentage that they take out of each sale just is a little exorbitant at this point. But 30% is a lot. If I if I had to give you 30% of my labor just so you could put it on your storefront,
Yeah, it seems like that should scale down as your sales go up. Like
yeah,
for a small mom and pop thing, yeah, 30% is fine. They're giving you the exposure for your app. But if you're doing billions a year on their app store, that should have scaled down to to 3% maybe instead of 30. Yeah, yeah.
Even some kind of cap at some point, like, okay, once we make X amount of money for you,
Yep.
now it's just drawing people to your platform that we have this game available. So therefore, you're earning money somewhere else. So
Yeah, haven't these guys watched Shark Tank? They're gonna get fucking a royalty and then a percentage over time, and then that's gonna be capped when I make my money back times 2 or whatever. Like there's plenty of different deals to be offered, but like a straight 30% ever is kind of sharky. But
yeah.
And granted, they all did it at one point, but then Valve dropped their percentages a while back, and it's Apple and Google are the ones that still are like, yeah, we're just gonna keep these things high. So, yep. But good on Valve. Do a little push. All right, so next story. Microsoft testing web-based xCloud streaming ahead of public preview. So this is kind of a wolf in sheep's clothing. So everyone knows xCloud. Everyone knows the issues that were had with Apple, and they want to have a separate app for each game because of their stuff, and their each game has been vetted by Apple or whatever. So right now, Microsoft is trying to do this fully in web browsers, doing this game streaming, and obviously, what this will do is if this works and is successful, then you'll just be able to play the game in your browser on your iPhone or your iPad, and it doesn't break the App Store restriction. So, pretty genius. I don't know anyone that's in on this on this private beta yet, but Selden, if I knew someone, it would probably be you. You seem to be on these early throughout the whole process, but
no, because I'm on the Android platform, so I don't really
you don't even get web browser based stuff though.
I don't even think I saw anything about the web browser based yet. So who knows what's going on with that? I think this will be interesting because if they put it to a browser base, all of a sudden now you don't need to, you don't
need any apps.
Yeah. You don't need any apps. Now I'll be able to play Microsoft xCloud on potentially a PlayStation 5 web browser.
I could potentially play it on my fridge, my Samsung fridge.
There you go. You can play it on your fridge.
Yeah, with a Bluetooth controller. Yep. So yeah, it really opens up a lot of shit.
But good for them if they can figure this out. I mean, this is going to be a pretty big game changer because it's going to. I don't see how Apple's going to be able to restrict web.
What you do in a web browser, like Apple's like. No porn, no porn, no porn, no adult content. But meanwhile, anyone can open up a web browser and go to any porn site they want. And so if you're going to go with that argument, it's already null and void. So, yeah. But yeah, I'm excited to see this. Hopefully I get offered it at some point in one of either my Circle on the PC here on that Windows Insider or my Xbox One or who knows. But I'd like to check this out. So.
Yeah, and then Microsoft can turn around and start selling this. They can license out the software at this point to other companies. I mean, if you could do that, Stadia would be pretty much dead at that point.
I knew you were going to say.
You're talking about the Steam. I mean, even Steam has a cloud-based. They can license out. How to play those Steam games. Through that same interface. That'd be freaking money.
Yeah, no, this is huge news, and I was surprised that it's come this fast. I thought there was going to be a few more back and forths between Apple and Microsoft on how to get this through. With the ultimate worst case scenario being there was literally 1,000 dumb fake games that you had to download each one individually. But this is good news, and I'm looking forward to see where this goes.
Yeah.
All right.
Game Pass will explode.
Oh, absolutely. Yes. Yeah. Yeah. This is huge news. All right. Last story.
Animal Crossing's Mario update lets you recreate the Mushroom Kingdom. Yeah, that title pretty much says it all. they're
really invested in this one, Selden.
Yeah, they're bringing the assets from the Mario Kart world into your Animal Crossing world. Mm-hmm. So I guess now it might be time to blow up my entire island, get rid of my soccer field that I built, and all my little lakes and mazes that I had, and maybe recreate a level of Mario.
Yeah, might as well.
Yeah.
I don't know. People like doing shit in that game. I just don't like that game. I'm sorry. Like,
I'm down to picking it up once every couple months to see what the new season or update is.
mm,
I'm no longer even trying to collect all the fish or anything like that. I'm just like,
yeah,
And it lasts about 20 minutes and I put it down. I'm done.
yeah. In my younger years, I could do like a game as a second job, but I'm done that part of gaming. I did it with World of Warcraft, and then I was like, that's it forever. Then I did it with Destiny, like that's it forever. I can't do that anymore. I'm into, I can come in, I can play as much as I want or as little as I want. Like if it's multiplayer, obviously you're gonna finish your multiplayer game, but single player, I want to be able to do either a whole giant ass mission or a little bit of story, and then walk away. And I don't want to feel like if I'm not playing that game that I'm missing out on something. And I think more and more people are starting to feel that way.
Yeah.
Yeah.
I'm definitely getting that feeling, especially with like the single player games. Like Assassin's Creed Valhalla is a good example. It's like there's no push to get through it quick.
No, yeah. If you
And
got some
you can
time,
play,
you can play. If you don't,
right.
you don't. Yeah.
It's got all the little missions that you can do. You do a couple, could do 3 or 4 of these little side missions, these little, jobs that you have to complete, or you can go to the storyline and run the storyline for a little while. But you're right. You can just get up and walk away and not feel like you're missing out on something or not advancing or staying up with the Joneses.
Or all my friends are getting ahead. Like, yeah, no, it shouldn't be like that. And we were like that for a while. And I think that we're seeing that kind of flip resurgence of like, yeah, I'll play games on my time. If I want to play a multiplayer game with friends, fine. If I want to play a single player game by myself, fine. But my gaming window is not going to be a guaranteed thing every day, and I'm not going to want to feel like I'm missing out if I'm not in that game. And that happened to a lot of us for a while. Like people weren't playing more than one game because they felt like they had to play and overplay one game at a time. Like there was a time you were doing it with me and Yant and Hit for a while and Mr. GMS like and Tiff. We were all playing Destiny every fucking night of the week, and
Yeah.
it's because you felt like you had to, not because you wanted to. So
That is the truth.
yep.
The new season of Destiny is nice, but that was a couple weeks ago, so I didn't talk about it.
Well, I don't really give a shit because I'm never going back. All right. Well, that wraps up the news. So if any of you have stories you want to talk about next week or reflect on some of the stories we talked about today, give us a call, 773-527-2961. Email us at podcast@tooltoplay.com or comment in this episode's thread on the Tool to Play homepage. And sponsors! If we had them, we'd pimp them, but we don't right now, so we won't right now. But if you want to sponsor the show, same number, 773-527-2961, podcast@tooltoplay.com. You tell us what you're going to sell, what you're going to pay us, we'll sell it, you pay us, boom, done. Yes. That used to roll off my tongue so much quicker in my 20s than it does in my late 30s here.
Yeah.
All right. Twitter us up. You can find everything Tool to Play at twitter.com/Tool to Play. Everything podcast released at twitter.com/still_got_game. You can find us on Facebook at facebook.com/Tool to Play. We're also over at YouTube at youtube.com/Tool to Play. That's also where we keep our archive of all of our previous video content, whether it's episodes of this show, whether it's Hits Quick Hits, whether it's Tiff's immature interviews, whether it's Selden's Cam Show. They all exist there in infinitum. So go to youtube.com/Tool to Play and subscribe and access our back catalog of video. Obviously, our most prominent version of the show is our podcast version. So please go to iTunes where you can find the podcast, search up Still Got Game, rate and review us there, give us 5 stars. If you want to write a little something nice, take a couple extra seconds. That would really mean a lot to us because somehow it helps in the algorithm. Speaking of iTunes, we recently were on Amazon Podcasts.
Yeah, Amazon Podcast. We hit the featured
Yeah, we hit
podcast
the
of the week for a video game.
Yeah, so we I don't even know where you find us there, but somewhere Amazon Podcasts, go there, and if they let you rate things, rate us. If they let you read a review, review us. But yeah, and
share to your social media, share to Twitch, share to anywhere you want.
Share where you can. And Selden's Google Play Store podcast app thing probably has us too. So do the same there if you can figure out how to use that antiquated hardware. All right. We also have a Twitch channel, twitch.tv/still_got_game. That is one of the places we broadcast live each and every week, in addition to Facebook and Twitter. So Facebook and YouTube. So go to twitch.tv/still_got_game and follow us there. We also have a Discord channel. Now this is really where things get interesting. If you go to tooltoplay.com/SGG Discord, that still isn't still S isn't still, G isn't got, G isn't game Discord, and sign up. You can chat with us all day long. We have a whole bunch of different channels in there, whether we're talking about news stories or show related stuff or anything. Jump in there and join us in our Discord, and we'll talk to you all day long. Some of us more than others, but yeah, there's always some good Discord going on in our Discord. What a surprise.
Oh.
Yeah, see that? That's why they called it that, Selden.
Wow. I'm going to create a dad joke channel just for you.
Nice. All right, Selden. Before we get to the wrapping up of the show, is there anything you want to pimp that's that you're into?
I'm going to say, first off, you can find me all over social media at Selden007, Instagram, Facebook, Twitch, anywhere you want to go, I'll be there at Selden007. Hit me up anywhere and check out the content. I'm going to be streaming a lot more of, I think I'm going to keep with Assassin's Valhalla for a little while. I've been streaming that a couple nights last week, nice. For an hour or two, just playing through. You know, if I don't see your comment, hit it back up again, because I haven't figured out how to get all that working right. But yeah, definitely check it out. Hit me up. And other than that, you know, that's about it. What about you?
All right. Well, obviously you can find me at on all the socials, twitter.com/Derek Nolan, facebook.com/Derek Nolan, instagram.com/official_Derek Nolan, youtube.com/RealDSmooth, twitch.tv/Derek Nolan. You can pretty much find me anywhere. But I'd rather use this time, instead of driving you to me, to drive you to something else. And I'm not going to go long-winded on this, but the Restaurant Employee Relief Fund, we're still here in the middle of winter. There's no outdoor dining, so please help out the restaurant employees around the country that are not making the money that they could before. Everything's really restrictive. That's at rerf.us, Restaurant Employee Relief Fund, rerf.us. Go there, throw a couple shekels their way, and make somebody's day. So. All right. Well, I guess before we wrap up into the after show, I want to remind you all, you can join us each and every Monday night at 8 p.m. Eastern, 5 p.m. Pacific at youtube.com/tooltoplay, facebook.com/tooltoplay, and twitch.tv/still_got_game. And on that, why don't we wrap this post-break episode up? I am Derek D. Smooth Nolan.
I am Chris Selden, 007 Selden.
Hopefully we'll have more staff on hand next week.